Hi, Bruce Robinson here. We've become concerned at the number of young people who leave the church and rarely return, despite having had a strong foundation of church, Sunday school and Bible teaching. What was missing? So Jackie and I decided to ask them. We interviewed 140 adult children of strong Christian parents across 3 different countries. Why did those who leave go? Was it something that we could fix or not? Before I tell you the results, let me state clearly that the Bible makes it clear that parents cannot make their kids Christian. It's between our kids and God, not us. We are also His ambassadors for Christ, 2 Corinthians. And just as ambassadors represent their country, we represent God, especially to our children. So how we represent Him in that role matters. We can actually give God, like a bad ambassador can a country, a bad name. And this is a vital role. Otherwise He wouldn't have given it to us. But we, as parents, if we are sweet smells and excellent ambassadors for Him, can make the kids into moths that are attracted to the light, and vice versa, cockroaches that run away from the light. The numbers of these 140 young people are sobering. 53% are not attending church as adults. When we asked why, we got 5 recurring reasons, and I'm going to tell you about them. They're all problems that are fixable, both by mothers and fathers, to fix them. So, number 1, Christianity didn't make a difference. Christianity did not seem to change their parents' lives. They seemed to like money and prestige just as much as others, and were just as judgmental as others, if not more. They donated money, yes, but sacrificial love, not much. Not what the Bible talks about. They didn't really see anything in their parents that inspired them. Their parents seemed no different from non-believers, lacking in grace and not apologizing for being impatient and unkind. Faith didn't positively impact their parents. Why should they consider embracing it themselves? The second problem they expressed was that of the intellectual closed gates. Their parents discouraged open discussions about faith, suffering, that sort of thing, shutting down questions and alternative viewpoints. They did not welcome engagement on different perspectives, and therefore the kids felt that Christianity must be fragile, like made of glass, with any challenge representing a hammer. So then when they were confronted with intellectual challenges at school or at university or their workplace, they were like lambs to the slaughter, to the intellectual slaughter. Kids should be encouraged to explore and ask tough questions. And then they'll grow up realizing that Christianity is not made of glass, but is rather a strong and resilient faith. It's more like a tough lighthouse in rough seas than being made of glass. The third problem they expressed was a kind of a lazy reliance on their home church. Some parents relied too much on their church, which was often boring and one-dimensional, and didn't seek out the teamwork of other dynamic, inspiring Christian communities. So their kids missed out on those rich experience and fresh dimensions of Christianity that would have strengthened their faith and given them wonderful, new, attractive friends and role models. The fourth reason they described was a kind of a cult-like isolation. Many Christian parents did not have a healthy balance between believers and non-believers as friends, and only seemed to be comfortable socializing within church circles, and seemed a bit lost out in the real world. The kids therefore felt that Christianity required them to live in a social castle, separated from the real world by an imaginary wall. This can push kids away from faith because it makes them feel like they are joining a cult, well, sort of like a cult without knowing it, but they have to abandon their non-believing friends. In contrast, their non-Christian friends' families seem to have many diverse and rich relationships and interesting discussions on all sorts of topics. The fifth reason that kids give is the harsh, judgmental fathering phenomenon. A false sense of God as Father. A complaint that Christian fathers were too strict, too judgmental, too harsh, and lacked that type of unconditional love exemplified by the father of the prodigal son. And therefore it became difficult for their children to sense the reality that God is a deeply loving and unconditionally loving and forgiving Father. Anyway, these 5 reasons challenge us as parents and parent figures such as grandfathers, grandmothers and others. Now, when I speak about this issue in churches and I ask, how well are you doing in each of these 5 areas? To be honest, and scarily, only about 20% give themselves a pass mark on any of these issues. You see how scary that is? We cannot just sit back and hope that church, prayer and the Bible will do it all. He asks more of us as His ambassadors. So finally, here are 4 quick steps to take. Number 1, be intentional. Identify with honesty which of these areas you, as a mother or father, need to improve in and start to change. Secondly, discuss these issues in your home group and your church. Thirdly, form a specific parenting group in your church. Perhaps, honestly, mostly meeting online initially to discuss and grow together, sharing ideas that work. And finally, subscribe to our new Tips for Christian Parents YouTube channel to be informed as ideas, strategies and encouraging stories are posted.